everybody, and welcome to Gamecock Central Radio. Emerson Phillips joined by Gamecock legend Kip Bouknight, winner of the Golden Spikes Award during his playing days with South Carolina. And Kip, just a hell of a weekend for Gamecock baseball. There's no getting around it.
No, it was not. It was a hell of a weekend. It was outstanding, and to be down 7-0 and come back and win Friday night was amazing. And to be down, I think, at least 3, maybe 4 times on Sunday and come back to win the series was just outstanding. A lot of grit shown by the Gamecocks, and they did enough to win. The only negative I think you could say is the starting pitching did not fare well this past weekend. But good teams, they figure out ways to win, and I think that's the biggest ingredient that this team has figured out is they're learning how to win games. And right now, just depends on the day. It's a new hero each day, and that makes things a lot of fun. And I think it also gives them a lot of confidence. And you can tell this team's certainly hungry. And I look for it to be a packed house this weekend.
Yeah, big series coming up with the Ole Miss Rebels this weekend at Founders Park. Ole Miss having a fine season. We're going to talk more about them in just a moment. But, Kip, let's reflect a little bit on this Vanderbilt series. The Gamecocks head to Nashville and take 2 out of 3 against 17th-ranked Vanderbilt. And it was Carolina's first SEC road series win in more than a year. And you mentioned that they came from behind to win both the games Friday and Sunday. So Carolina rallied from 7-0 down after 3 innings on Friday, scored the last 8 runs of the ball game, including 6 runs in the 6th to win 8-7 on Friday. Vandy won game 2, 8-1. And then on Sunday, Kip, I got up Sunday and was looking forward to following the ball game, and I just remember thinking that it was really an important day for Gamecock baseball. If they could find a way to win that 3rd game and take the Vanderbilt series, they would tie Vanderbilt in the SEC standings, and they would put themselves over 500 in the league. And, going back to early in the season, they dropped 2 out of 3 to Florida to open the season. So they've been under 500 in league play much of the year, and they had a chance to get over 500. What a ball game on Sunday, Kip. I mean, we could do a whole podcast just on Sunday's game. That's some of the most exciting baseball I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I think it was a very emotional game and a big victory for South Carolina. And, again, there were so many heroes in that game Sunday as well as Friday's comeback. And, we saw a couple of relievers step up big and just do a wonderful job. And that's important. I mean, you need some new guys to step up. And, the starting pitching, lately we've seen, struggle just a little bit. But we all know that those 3 guys can certainly be very, very good. So I look for them to bounce back this weekend, and if they can put it all together, this could be a very, very dangerous team. I said that several weeks ago, and a lot of folks probably were wondering what in the world I was smoking, but this is a team that is certainly learning how to win and learning how to get up when they get knocked down. And it's just really, really fun to see all the guys producing. And, Carlos Cortez has just been a huge part of that, coming back after, hitting probably 160, 180 for a lot of the season. And I believe he's up above 250 now with double-digit home runs. And he's certainly a key to their offense. And obviously when you get back Madison Stokes and Noah Campbell and T.J. Hopkins, those are 3 huge bats in the lineup as well. And it's been really, really fun to watch, and can't wait for a great environment to see the guys again on Friday night.
Sunday in Nashville, the Gamecocks fell behind 4-0 in the 2nd inning, but they came back to tie the game twice and won it with a run in the 9th, 10-9. South Carolina beat Vanderbilt Sunday to win the rubber match in this series, and it was Carlos Cortez tying Sunday's game in the 8th inning with a 3-run home run to right field. He's now got 12 long balls on the season, and that matches his freshman year total of 12. And he's got a .257 batting average and 32 runs knocked in. He's hitting .284 in conference play with 7 home runs and 14 RBIs. And, Kip, you've talked about him frequently over the course of the season here on GCR. Batting average, under 200 much of the early portion of the season, but he's starting to heat up with the weather, Kip.
He is. Like you mentioned, he's hitting over 280 in conference play and 7 home runs. And I think there's a lot to that. I mean, he had some guys behind him in the lineup that were injured at times, and they were able to pitch around him a little bit. And they were pitching him like Babe Ruth the first 6 weeks of the season. He was seeing a lot of breaking balls, a lot of change-ups and breaking balls and fastball counts, and he was just probably pressing a little bit, but he certainly figured it out. And the biggest thing for me, even when he struggled, he was still a great team player. He was playing great defense in left field. He was not taking those at-bats to the field, and he was still, being a team guy and rooting the guys on that were hitting while he was not. And South Carolina's team, they know that they're really, really good when he does well. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He is certainly a leader for them, and they need him to hit well. And if he can hit well, and I mean, you're looking at Jonah Bryan, I believe now you've got 5 guys in the lineup that are batting over 300. And, this is a team that you look back at last year, I don't think there was ever a time where there were 5 guys hitting over 300 in the lineup. And we're seeing a lineup that's basically the same as it was last year. So, kudos to the coaching staff for developing these guys, and they're certainly clicking on a lot of cylinders right now.
Kip, Graham Lawson picked up the win for the Gamecocks on Sunday. He retired the final 6 Vanderbilt hitters, and Lawson came in a critical situation. 2 on, nobody out in the 8th inning. He got a fly out and 2 strikeouts to get out of the jam. So Graham Lawson came in and really delivered in what was a key situation in that very important game on Sunday.
Yeah, it was key. I mean, he come in after, I believe it was John Gilreath hit 2 batters on 2 pitches.
Yep.
And South Carolina had just tied it up 9-9 on the home run by Cortez. And, bottom line is that was a huge, huge inning to get out of that with runners on first and second, no outs, and did a wonderful job of keeping that momentum and carrying it over to the top of the ninth when South Carolina was able to, I believe, get a sac fly to get that winning run, across home plate. So just, again, a guy in Graham Lawson that, has not been in big situations a lot this year, but certainly delivered in the clutch there. Just a great team victory on Sunday.
Kip, one of the great things about baseball is you have an opportunity to see something that you've never seen before anytime you sit down to watch a game. And I was listening to the radio when Gilreath came on to pitch to start the 8th on Sunday, and I saw something or heard something that I'd never witnessed before, and that was Gilreath hitting the first 2 batters that he faced. He threw 2 pitches, Kip, and he hit 2 batters, and he was taken out of the game. I don't know that I've ever seen a pitcher get pulled after 2 pitches, and I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher hit 2 consecutive batters on the only 2 pitches he threw.
Yeah, Gilreath is certainly a guy that we saw pitch really, really well early on in the season, and unfortunately here of late, he has not pitched as well, but I still think he's a huge key to their success down the rest of the season. And I certainly look for him to hopefully South Carolina can get up and get a lead, maybe a big lead, if you will, and give him another opportunity to get in this weekend. If not, I'm sure they'll play with the hot hand and go with the guys that have been producing and doing well lately. But he's a guy that certainly got the credentials, certainly got some success in there, and he's got talent. He just, for whatever reason right now, is just a little bit off. And I think it's upstairs. I think it's mentally. I think he'll get back to where he needs to, and hopefully it'll be sooner than later.
That was just bizarre on Sunday. Gilreath came in, hit 2 batters, and was pulled after just the 2 pitches, and then Graham Lawson came on and got out of the first and second, nobody out jam, and Carolina scored in the 9th to win it 10-9. So you're right, Kip. The Gamecocks are going to need John Gilreath, and he'll have an opportunity to redeem himself a little bit at some point down the road. The Gamecocks are going to need Gilreath to contribute for this team to go as far as it can. But for whatever reason, Gilreath just was not ready to pitch on Sunday. That was just a very bizarre situation. But the Gamecocks found a way to pull it out, and South Carolina takes 2 out of 3 at Vanderbilt, and the Gamecocks are now 26-18 on the year and 11-10 in the SEC. And Carolina is now tied for 5th in the SEC standings. And the Ole Miss Rebels come to town. No midweek game this week for the Gamecocks, so Ole Miss is in town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Ole Miss having a great year, Kip. They're 34-11 overall. They're 12-9 in the league. So the Gamecocks and Rebels meeting at Founders Park this weekend. You know, these are two of the top 6 or 7 teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I think South Carolina they need this week. I think it's good that they don't have a midweek game. I think it's the time for them to, get back and have some regular practices and get their feet under them, if you will. And this is an opportunity. South Carolina always talks about how great the fans are, and I'm not saying they're not, but this is a weekend where I've said it many times on the SEC Network plus games. This is a weekend where they can make a huge difference. They can be the 10th man, if you will, and that doesn't mean when everything's going well they're loud, and if they hear sandstorm they're loud. This means if they're down 2-0 in the 7th, or if it's a 2-strike count and our pitcher's pitching. I can remember, for example, with Adam Hill, the type of stuff he had against Clemson on Friday night earlier in the season, and he struck out 14. Hell, I think he could have struck out 20 if he'd have had the fans really getting involved and really, really making it tough on the opposing team. And they just got to, and they've gotten better. They certainly have gotten better this year, but what a great opportunity for the fans to really make it tough on the opposing team this weekend, and Ole Miss coming to town. And I can assure you these guys want it. They are hungry. The coaching staff's hungry. They want to do everything they can to finish strong and make a regional. And you can't put anything past this team now. I mean, this is a team that looked like they wouldn't even make the tournament 3 weeks ago, and now they're certainly projected to be in of course the SEC tournament, but also the regionals. And you might wake up next thing you know, and they got a chance to host. I mean, this team can certainly play into where they want to be, and it's just a really exciting time, and I think the guys are prepared for it.
A couple more notes from the Vanderbilt series here. Jonah Bride went 5 for 11 in the series, including a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning of Sunday's game. Bride scored 2 runs, knocked in 3 in that win on Sunday, and he's hitting .329 on the season, and he's reached base safely in 41 of Carolina's 44 games. We talked about Carlos Cortez, huge 3-run home run in the 8th inning to tie the game Sunday, his 12th long ball of the year. And TJ Hopkins, we talked about last week here on GCR, 6 more hits in the Vanderbilt series, and he is hitting .444 since coming back from the hand injury that forced him to miss about a month of the season. And Justin Rowe had 4 doubles in the Vanderbilt series. He's now got 8 doubles on the year, and he's hitting .338 with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. So the Gamecocks swept LSU last weekend. They go to Nashville and take 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt. Gamecocks heating up at the right time, and Carolina's got Ole Miss coming to Founders Park for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. It'll be Friday at 7 on SEC Network Plus, Saturday at 4 also on SEC Network Plus, and then a noon start on Sunday on the SEC Network. That's the regular SEC Network for Sunday's noon start. So, Kip, you working TV this weekend?
Yeah, working TV Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday we'll let the big dogs do it for the big SEC Network. But should be a great weekend. I think the weather forecast looks good, and now let's come out and support the Gamecocks and make it really, really tough for Ole Miss, and certainly look for the Gamecocks to win this series. They're going to be facing a tough team. Ole Miss's guys on Friday and Saturday, the 2 starters there, they're pretty sharp. And but South Carolina has done a good job of looking at scouting reports, looking at tendencies, and you mentioned T.J. Hopkins. What he's done after he's come back from injury has just been remarkable. But he's certainly solid up the middle, obviously playing center, and anything he can do offensively is certainly a plus. And Jonah Bride just having a great year, and really, really happy for that young man. He's outstanding at third base, and just a lot of good players for South Carolina, and they're stepping up and doing well at the right time.
Yeah, forecast looks good this weekend. Temperatures should be warm and sunny skies at Founders Park. Kip, we look forward to checking you out on TV this weekend. All the folks that won't be at Founders Park for the Ole Miss series. Thank you, bud.
Yes, sir. Go Gamecocks.
That's Kip Bouknight. He'll be on the SEC Network Plus with Birch Antley on the Friday and Saturday broadcasts. Sunday's game on the SEC Network. And I'm Emerson Phillips. This is Gamecock Central Radio. We'll be back next week to review the Ole Miss series here on Gamecock Central Radio. Thanks for joining us.